Thank you so much for being here. Feel free to come as close as you'd like, because we want to make sure we're as close together as possible. Okay, so we're just going to get things kicked off. We will start off with our holy Quranic recitation of an important verse that we felt represented best for this day today. So we'll start with my brother Muhyiddin Sheikh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا. Allah says, and worship Allah alone and without any partners, and be good to your parents and good to your relatives and the orphans and the people who have no homes and your neighbors and anybody who's lost. Verily Allah does not love those who show off. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we will have a blessing with our elder, Florence.
It'll be a little bit more gracious. Good morning, everybody. I want to say this in Korean first, and then I will translate what comes from my heart and from my mind. Ako naman po, kinanastumit na kaya kusirawin ni Kiyawayak Matsun. Stimawa gawayak, bumi na magsigit ako na. Nagduta tayo kaya at saka mamawitsak. Pagit ka maginawatsak. Gusto ay magutatsak. Matsak. Tiknano, isuwagutuak. Iti maginatutan. Sagi ito kan stuta ito na. Iti nagutsi. Yun na. Silang pagiwit sila naman. Kagado nagitimagin ng mutagayatsak kasitos katotsak kinanturan at tapiwitsigwag nagayumusumin po. Creator, we thank you for this beautiful day, a day of life that you have loaned us. We have all our heartaches and our heartbreaks, but with your guidance, your love, and your strength, we keep going. Give us grandfathers, give us the love that we should have for each other. We are all human, and we should learn how to live together and get along. God, I thank you all, and may God and the Creator bless you all. Hey, hey.
Our dear residents and representatives of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Canada, thank you for being here today and for your collective solidarity. When my father, Abu Sheikh, was attacked on July 13th, I did feel powerless. Yes, I felt angry and I felt hurt. But I also felt a strange sense of compassion and sympathy. The attack was on all of us, and a strike against our humanity. But I asked myself this question that my father asked as well. Why did he do this to me? Why did he do this to my father? And I realized that it was because he did not know my father, and he did not recognize his similarities. He saw a Muslim man and he could not love him. because he did not see a father, a grandfather, an entrepreneur, a founder, a person who speaks 7 languages. He did not see a peaceful and loving neighbor. My father was the other. It may not seem like it, but I am a Muslim female immigrant and a person of immense privilege. My beliefs are always evolving because I have been raised in a household that comes from so many different cultures. We are East African, we are ethnically Arab, we have ties to Portugal, and we also are very Canadian. So we travel, we try new foods, and we open ourselves to new people and different ideas. We also like to challenge ourselves and open ourselves to different tensions. Tensions that arrive when you have so many different opposing beliefs in one household. So with this, we make sure that we stay curious and we turn our fears into excitement to get to know difference. When we judge or we push somebody down, it's because we're afraid. What makes us all special here in Canada and makes us so proud to be Canadian is our democracy and our charter, which states that our beliefs in our liberty and also our equality. These two values can create a tension because while we're free to act, at the same time, we do not stand for racism. As you spend time together today, I want you to remember the event themes, Neighbors Without Borders. Democracy is a verb. It is not just a theory. It's about peacefully residing with one another, and that takes hard work. It takes hard work to be responsible for all of us to be engaged citizens to build the kind of city that we want to see. Secondly, compassion needs action. We're here today for that reason. Taking a stance is about a visible act. Whether that's planting flowers or walking in solidarity. And for our future, we hope that you'll continue to build Saskatoon together by building new relationships and not leaving today until you've committed to having tea with at least one new person. So thank you for coming. We are so grateful to see every one of you here and your commitment to us as neighbors. And I'm committed to you, my family's committed to you as citizens of this country, and I'm excited about this future that we're going to build together. And if there's any of our dignitaries that are here, yes. The Deputy Premier Gordon Wyant. Yes.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here today on behalf of Premier Scott Moe and the Government of Saskatchewan. I do want to recognize some of my colleagues that are here today. First of all, I recognize His Worship Charlie Clark, who is with us today. From the legislature, my colleagues Eric Lawson is here, David Forbes, former MLA Rob Norris is also here, and I see the Leader of the Opposition is here as well. Welcome. I also note that MP Sherry Benson is here, so welcome, Sherry. It's wonderful to have you. Well, it's a great honor to be here on behalf of the Premier to bring greetings today. My friends, I want to thank the Sheikh family for putting this event together. It's important as we move forward in building our community that we recognize the events that have happened in this community, and that we come together as a community to stand together, not just with one community, but as an entire community. And I think it speaks volumes that our community, your community and our communities, could host such an inspiring event as this after such a disheartening event. And I think that the attendance today demonstrates the commitment that this community has to stand together as one community. And I'm pleased to see so many friends here today supporting that. When I first heard of the incident that had happened to Mr. Sheikh, of course I was disappointed and very saddened that tragedies like that continue to happen in this province. Because as was mentioned earlier, attack against one member of this community is an attack against all members of this community. So that makes it so important that a large majority who greatly appreciate the impact of the Muslim community both here and in Saskatoon and in the province continue to stand with your community. And it's a point of pride, I think, in this province that over 112,000 immigrants have arrived in Saskatoon over the past decade. Those individuals have made this province more diverse, driving our economic growth and keeping Saskatchewan a better place to live and work and raise a family. So friends, I think it's important that we continue to work together to ensure all our neighborhoods are safe, a place for all people regardless of race or religion. As a province, we're stronger when we are diverse, we're stronger when we are united, and we're stronger when we were respectful of each other. And we can't let ignorance divide us. We must be visible, we must not be complacent, and we must be vigilant. So we must all continue to stand together. And only by standing together can we fulfill our province's motto, for many people's strength. So again, I want to thank the Sheikh family for allowing me to be here today, for sharing a few minutes, a few thoughts. And all together, as a community, we stand together with your family and stand together with your community. So thank you very much.
And we'll have another speech by Mayor Charlie Clark.
Well, welcome everybody, and I'm very pleased to join with all of you here on the grounds of the Islamic Association of Saskatchewan site in Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. And I also want to thank the Sheikh family and for the Islamic Association for bringing everybody together so that we can stand together and show a response to this hateful act that happened against this family. And your courage in being so vocal and bold and clear and inviting the community to recognize that if we believe in democracy and if we believe in the fundamental basis of our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, that we all have freedom and we all have responsibility, that when acts like this happen, we must be clear about what that means and commit to those values. I also want to recognize and thank Elder Florence Highway for speaking with us today and for opening this up and recognizing that this is very much part of the journey that we're on. And I see within the last 18 months this coming together between folks in the Muslim community, folks in the new immigrant community, and folks in the Indigenous community, as we all and as we learn, and we learn from elders and we learn from teachers within all of these communities about what it means to live in right relationship together. And it's very powerful for me because, and I want to recognize that we have Councillor Cynthia Block here, and she's the representative from City Council in this ward, and she took over from me in this role, and for several years I was the City Councillor representing the Islamic Association, and at a time when the Islamic community was growing tremendously, and at a time when there were attacks happening in places like Paris and Belgium and London, and we were being tested as communities in many ways, and I saw the impact when those attacks occurred on the local community here as people in the name of Islam were blaspheming and acting in violence, and people here were paying a price. At the same time, as within this neighborhood, we were working out some basic issues to do with parking and noise and those things, and I remember very well a moment when the Muslim community, the leadership, invited the neighbors from this area to a meeting and shared food, and there was food from 14 different countries shared, representing the 14 different countries at that time, and I know it's more than that now, of people who've come together in the diversity to worship together in this mosque. And at that time, they also shared with us the teachings of Islam about being good neighbors. And I was very struck by that, because as somebody who did not know myself much about Islam, I was subject to stereotypes. I was subject to many of those same confusions and even suspicions about the roots of the tradition. And as I learned more, and as I have learned more and been invited by this Muslim community to learn about the core of the tradition, about treating our neighbors, whether they're close neighbors or far neighbors, as we would treat ourselves, as we would treat our own family, as a fundamental basis, I realized there is so much more common ground. It's something that I also learn from elders in our community. It's something that is also core to the Christian tradition, that we are our brothers and sisters' keepers. So this is the basis of our society. But our society is facing challenges. It is facing fear and intolerance and discrimination and racism right now, and we're seeing it in the news, we're seeing it in our community, we're seeing it in this act that occurred. And I was very appreciative that the Deputy Premier stood here, Minister Wyatt, and said, we all must stand together. An attack on one is an attack on all. And that's very powerful. And I want to thank Inspector Dave Hay, who came out very strongly in the newspaper right after this occurred to say we cannot tolerate these acts in Saskatoon. It's important that we stand together. And I want to thank every single one of you who took time out of a summer warm weekend to be here together today to make that stand together. Because this is very, very important for the young people who are here, for the next generation who are growing up in our community, that now we are being tested to determine what are our values and what kind of society and what kind of are we going to build together. It all starts in our community, and it all starts with our neighbors. And this is a city where we can come together and build that better society together for those young people. And so by doing this today, we're taking that next step, and we will take the next step, and we will take the next step together. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And our last speaker, MP Sherry Benson.
Thank you very much. I am very humbled and honored to stand here with you, Abu and Aisha and your family, with your friends and your neighbors, with our community leaders, with my fellow colleagues from City Council, the Saskatchewan Legislature, in solidarity as a community against ignorance, racism, and hate. It is my duty as an elected leader to use my privileges I have in my role as a member of Parliament to lend my support, my resources, and my voice to say that we will not be silent, that we will and can come together in love and with courage to stand with all victims of hate and intolerance, to ensure no one suffers in silence or lives with fear, and that these acts motivated by hate and racism will not go unchallenged. We also acknowledge the legacy of colonialism that remains with us today, that reconciliation is both word and deed and is the way forward towards a more just and equitable society for all. I want to also acknowledge, as a settler, that we gather to make change today on Treaty 6 territory and the ancestral homeland of the Métis. Abu and your family, I'm so sorry for what you and your family experienced. That your right to feel safe and secure in your community and in your home was violated. I hope the gathering today helps in a small way for you and your family to feel the love and the support of your community. I will end my remarks sharing Jack Layton's words from his letter to Canada. My friends, love is better than anger. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair. So let us all be loving, hopeful, and optimistic, and we will change the world. And thank you everyone for coming.
And we just said that was the last one, but we would actually like to have the leader of the opposition, Ryan Miley, say a quick word, and after that we'll proceed for the march, and then my father will be speaking at the park after. When we get to the house, we'll have some people place some flowers on behalf of everyone. We'll get back and we'll have some performances, and my father will be speaking. So yes, if I could have, yes.
Well, thank you very much for the chance to say a quick hello, and I actually have to give credit to my political opponent and legislative colleague, the minister, who said we should get that guy whose name I forgot to say a few words. So thanks very much, Gord. It's really appreciated, and very much in the spirit of this gathering, that this isn't about one party or another, one community or another. This is about all of us and how we come together in the true spirit of Saskatchewan. And I think about the experience of Mr. Sheikh and his family. What a shocking and upsetting and disturbing experience that would be, how frightening that would be, and that the response could easily have been one of anger, one of turning away from the community, of saying we're not wanted here, of saying that the people of Saskatchewan are not kind. But they did the opposite. They did something very, very impressive, something very courageous. They used this as an opportunity to come together, as a moment of unity, of inviting people to learn more, of inviting people to come together, to understand each other. And to me, that is so representative of the true spirit of Saskatchewan. The actions of that person who did that horrible act, that doesn't represent us at all. Our motto as a province is for many people's strength. And Mr. Sheikh and his family and everyone who's gathered here today is representing that motto so clearly. And that strength, that courage is a courage based on kindness, on respect, on recognizing that we're all in this together. So once again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to the family for their leadership in our community, and let's have a great walk.
Okay, so we'll be leading this walk. My father and I and my brother will be in the front, and we also have some drummers, and they'll be in the front and the back. And some of the words, one of the things my dad wanted to say in the march, you might have heard in Lion King, Hakuna Matata, which means no worries. So if you wanted to say, what do you want to say?
I'd like to say Saskatoon Hakuna Matata.